The difference in my mind between those that are successful and those that are not in ideas. We all have good ideas. I cannot tell you how many people reach out to me and say, Dustin, I got a great idea. And in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, that is a good idea. What are you going to do about it?
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Hey everybody, Dustin Harris once again hanging out in the podcast chair. We are cruising through the principles of prosperity. We're on to number 13, but first want to pause and remind you of our great sponsor, Now Software. A good friend of mine, Marty Haldane, who is the co-founder and the president CEO of this wonderful company, Now Software. He and I have talked exclusively and extensively about what went into developing this great software. Folks, this is a software created by real estate appraisers for real estate appraisers. It's anow.com, anow.com. All right, folks, we are on to principle lucky number 13. Prosperity comes through action. Prosperity comes through action. Now, folks, this is very, very closely related to number 11. And that's where I talked in the beginning. My first introductory podcast to the principles of prosperity, I mentioned to you that these are flexible, that we started out with a dozen and now I have 16. And it's things like this. 11 and 13 could probably be combined. It probably would not be too difficult to combine them. And they are so closely related that they're almost the same, but they are a little bit different, and that's why I wanted to parse them out just a little bit. Remember, number 11 is what you focus on becomes greater. Now, to me, 11 is all about the mental capacity. This is the created spiritually before it is created physically. So if you think about building a house, number 11 are the blueprints. Number 13 is the actual labor that goes into building that house. So number 11, again, what you focus on becomes greater. In other words, when you focus on an idea, when you focus on success, when you focus on something that you want, when you focus on your vision. We talk a lot in my private personal coaching with other clients about your vision story. What does the world look like to you in 2 years? Well, that's all about number 11. What you focus on becomes greater. Number 13, to me, is worthy of its own number. It's worthy of its own principle. Again, number 13, prosperity comes through action. Prosperity comes through action. Speaking of action, folks, are you taking action when it comes to the coupon code podcast30 and Now Software? Now, what does podcast 30 do for you, folks? There's a lot of people that are a little bit timid about trying Now, and they listen to Dustin Harris on the podcast and they say, okay, I trust that guy. He seems to know what he's talking about. Well, sort of. And I want to try this, but man, I don't know if I want to expend the cost of Now. Now Software, folks, will change the way that you do business. Now, many people look at it and they go, well, Dustin, that's expensive. That's a cost, right? No, folks, it's an investment. It's an investment in you. It's an investment in your company. It's an investment in your success. Now, if you're worried about the cost, quote unquote, COST, the cost of Now, check out this coupon code podcast30. Podcast30 will allow you to try it. Try Now Software up to 3 months with 30% off. Folks, think about that. 30. I didn't say 10. I didn't say 15. I didn't even say 25. 30% off Now. You are missing out if you don't try this coupon code. anow.com, coupon code podcast30. All right. Well, welcome back, folks. We're talking about the principles of prosperity. Specifically, we are talking about principle number 13. Prosperity comes through action. Now, you've often heard me talk about the 98% versus the 2%. Now, again, the percentages may be slightly different. Maybe it's 97% versus 3%, right? Maybe it's 96% versus 4%. Maybe it's 99%. And I know my good friend Blaine Fine talks about the 1% out there. Who knows, right? It could be 1%, could be 2%, could be 2.1%. I don't know. I know it's close to 2%. So that's the number that I choose. 2% of people are successful. And I'm telling you, folks, it comes down to many, many things. You cannot boil it down to one principle. But I have to say, number 13 is very, very high. In fact, I would say this may be the make or break principle when it comes to success. Well, what is it, Dustin? Yeah, I told you, remember? It's principles, or prosperity rather, comes through action. Number 13, prosperity comes through action. The difference in my mind between those that are successful and those that are not in ideas. We all have good ideas. I cannot tell you how many people reach out to me and say, Dustin, I got a great idea. And in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, that is a good idea. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. I have a good friend, folks, that comes up with ideas constantly. This guy is constantly coming up with ideas. And I think, what have you done about it? Ideas are ideas, and they are nothing until they are implemented. That's why principle number 13 is so vitally important. Prosperity comes through what? Not thinking about it, not coming up with an awesome idea. Prosperity comes through action. Sometimes I get asked, well, Dustin, you talk a lot about a lot of things on your podcast, and you talk about a lot of things in your blogs, and you're giving that stuff out for free. What do you have left for the coaching side of things, right? Why are you sharing your best ideas on the podcast and your best ideas on the blog? Because, folks, here's the thing. First of all, I am not afraid of people taking those ideas and running with them. Most people won't, right? Most people just won't. That's who we are. That's human beings. But secondly, folks, the difference between what I give out for free and what costs money is the customization. That's the difference. There's a big difference between teaching prosperity comes through action and then meeting with you one-on-one to help you, to motivate you, to show you the pathway that looks like action for you. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different situation, and that's what this is all about. But when it comes down to it, people who are successful versus people who are not, in my mind, the biggest factor is whether or not they move. Now, I've heard every excuse in the book out there, and frankly, I've used them myself, right? I can't do that because fill in the blank. I don't want to go there because I'm afraid, fill in the blank. But what if, fill in the blank. These are the things that keep us from action. And the bottom line is the successful people that I've studied take action. Does that mean they fail sometimes? Oh, big time. Big time. Some of the most successful people that you would look up to and say, that's a successful person, have failed miserably over and over and over and over. And I know it sounds cliche that you can't find success without failure, but folks, guess what? The reason is because you cannot find success without action. And when you take action, you will fail. You will. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I know that's not very encouraging, but I hope it is encouraging, because the bottom line is prosperity only comes through action, not just having the idea. And when you take action, you will fail sometimes. That's just the way it works. So, principle number 13, prosperity comes through action. You want to know the difference between your friends who are successful and your friends who are not? It comes down to those that take action. Speaking of taking action, are you ready to take action in your business and really move it to the next level? I cannot tell you, folks, how many people reach out to me and say, Dustin, I'm almost there. I'm almost ready to join the dream team. Almost? What are you waiting for? Prosperity comes through action. Folks, you're only going to be ready when you say you're ready. Be ready. Join a team and a group of people who will absolutely change the way that you do business. Prosperity comes through action. Do it today through the Dream Team Mastermind.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
Folks, this coupon code, editor. Folks, this coupon code podcast30 will allow you to try ANAL software for 30. Hello. Sorry, editor. Let's back up again. Let's do this one more time. Where was I? I have no idea. Folks, podcast 30 will allow you to try this coupon. Oh my gosh. It's getting late. Folks, the coupon code podcast30 will allow you to try on oh my gosh. I can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta go to bed. It's so late. I'm sorry, editor. Don't hate me. Here we go. You know what? Let's start over. I have no idea how I even got into this. All right.